listeners. Welcome to the Brothers in Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in the areas of life, leadership, and community. I'm your host, Ian Williams.
And I'm Sherrod Leavell.
And I'm Shante Price, and together we are the Brothers.
And we are privileged to bring you a special guest who's going to bring the influence. Let's begin.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of the Brothers in Influence podcast. I am privileged to bring you another special guest who is bringing the influence. Her name happens to be Mellanie, Coach MJ Hunter. That's Mellanie with 2 L's. So get it right. She is a keynote speaker, a workshop facilitator, a business startup coach, event organizer, project manager, podcaster, content creator, skincare consultant, a musician, and we might have to talk a little bit about that. Peacock proud single mother, self-described peacock proud single mother of 2 amazing young adults. She is a 25-year veteran of corporate America, and she uses her signature talk, the confidence, command, and the BRAVE framework. BRAVE is an acronym. BRAVE framework to empower students and young adults to make it to graduation day. Not only make it, but blossom into confident, authentic young adult leaders. Okay. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we have Coach MJ with us today. How you doing, Coach MJ?
I am fine. Thank you so much, Ian, and I am glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me on your illustrious podcast.
Oh, of course. Like from the moment we met, I knew I had to get you on that short list of special guests. Because people have that light and that energy, and that the care for others and the heart for personal growth and leadership is evident. It's just a given. It's a given.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so we could touch on quite a few things. Just reading through the bio, like you have a ton of experience. I'm certain a lot of value to offer. We're going to try to squeeze it into as much as we can in the next 30 minutes or so, but. I come from a family of musicians. Really, I come from a family of singers. Both my mom and my dad, back in the day, they've been on records and in studios and so forth and so on. I can hang a tune, but when you say you're a musician, can you give us a little insight? What is that like for you?
Absolutely. So I grew up in church. So I am a church musician. I've actually been playing the piano for about 41 years. So I know you guys thought I was 29 years old, but I'm not. I've been playing the piano for a long time, and I've been working with choirs since I was 16. So I'm a minister of music. I did call myself retiring a couple of years ago, but recently a friend of mine who is the choir director of the church said he needed a musician, so I kind of inched out of retirement. But I've been working with churches, all different denominations, different types of choirs, praise teams, for a number of years, just helping them to bring music to their worship services. I also am a singer. I sing with Leavell with One Purpose, which is a community choir here in the greater Leavell area. Wow. And so, that's what I do.
Come on. That's amazing. That's amazing. And I don't think we've discussed this because we've met in kind of a professional space. Yeah. It did get a little, it got a little spiritual. As it tends to do when Black folks
show up. Not that all of us go to church, but
we ain't afraid.
We get it.
We ain't afraid. All right, yeah. So I've got a ministry background as well. I'm a PK.
Oh wow, okay.
Now, like I said, I can hold a tune. You see, there's a couple of guitars behind me. I know it's the Black Girls Group. That's what those are right there. My wife actually plays guitar, and she has a background of playing on praise teams and with choirs and things. So it's those small connections. They seem small, but I love it. Thank you for sharing it. So I guess the next question I want to ask: where can we come and hear you?
Hear me sing?
Hear you sing? Hear you play? Watch you perform? Do you? We just want to be in your presence while you.
So listen, nobody ever knows when I play the piano because I'll be on the low.
See. That's what I want to know. I want to get the.
I won't even play around other keyboardists.
No.
But actually, we have a YouTube channel. It's Leavell, Joe, obviously, but Leavell. If you look us up on YouTube, we have videos there. We also just recorded it was for our 12th anniversary, but it was our debut live recording back in September of this year, 2022. And so it should be coming out here in a month or so is what we're hoping. I don't know exactly when, but we have an upcoming engagement at a Jewish synagogue. I think we're going to be singing at in January. It'll be on our Facebook page. So if you want to follow us, we always let our followers know where we're going to be if we're going to be live. Also, we were invited to be a guest musician on the Signature Health. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Well, this might have already broadcast by the time y'all hear this. But Signature Health, they own the nursing homes. They invited us to record something for Christmas, and that comes out on December 15th. So if you go to our Facebook page, you should be able to find all of the places where we're going to be. We also have our annual Black History concert at New Covenant Baptist Church at 40th and Grand, I think it is, in February. So again, that's going to be an amazing time of throwback. So that's where I don't sing lead. I'm the choir mascot. That's what I say. I bring the energy, honey. I'm the Flavor Flav of the choir.
See, I'm catching like nobody can bring energy and modesty at the same time like Coach MJ.
Absolutely not.
I love it. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do is whenever I bring a guest on, I want to get all the links wherever we can find you. So we can make sure to include the links to the choir. Hopefully, those of you that are listening or watching can find her. I'm definitely going to be tuning in. I'm interested in the Black History event specifically. Bring my family down there to hear you guys.
Please do. It's an amazing, and I'm going to try to do this while I'm sitting here, but it's going to be at 5:00. It's on a Sunday afternoon. I think it's the third Sunday in February. But what we do with that concert is we do oldies. So stuff from like the 70s and 80s, that good old choir music. Like the choir has been dying. The choir as a whole has been dying. We're trying to keep it alive. Like the institution. Yes, as an institution. On February the 19th, which is a Sunday at New Covenant Baptist Church. That's where we'll be at 5:00. But we're going to be singing a bunch of songs that people that are in church would know. So it's really a good time. We always have it in a smaller venue so that you can feel church versus a bigger church where we have our anniversaries normally at Keynote. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Love it. Definitely. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
All right, so I want to continue kind of on that trend. We're digging a little bit deep, finding things out about you. Tell us something about you that most people don't know.
Oh, that most people don't know.
That most people don't know. Because I know you're not afraid to share, but
no, absolutely not. They probably can figure out I own a lot of fashion frames, but they probably don't know how many I own. So the glasses I have on right now are not prescriptions. I do wear prescription glasses, but nobody ever sees those. They're ugly. I wear contacts, but I always have a different pair of glasses on. I own close to 85 pair. No sign of stopping. I wear them like jewelry. So there's a pair for every outfit. Most people don't know I have quite that many. But every time people see me, like I go to the credit union where I bank, the lady's like, okay, let's see what kind of glasses you got on this time, so.
Fashion frames. I'm not sure I've ever heard them called that, but every time I've seen you got something different on.
You have to call them that one. Absolutely. When there's no prescription, you have to call them something, because why do you have glasses on if you don't need them? Because they're cute. What do you mean, why?
Because they make it, you make them look amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I enjoy hiking and roller skating and line dancing. Some people don't know that about me. Those are some of my hobbies. Yeah.
I think I've heard you talk about hiking with line dancing too, huh?
Yeah, I taught a class here in my neighborhood this past summer. I love line dancing. I really want to get back to it, doing it with groups of people. I do it here at home for exercise. By the way, it is a phenomenal form of exercise. It doesn't feel like it. If I line dance for about, song after song for about 50, 55 minutes, I can burn 300 calories. That's phenomenal for something that seems just like fun. It's just fun to me. Right. But if you want to get some cardio in, you don't have to just do the regular little, the stuff that's exercise. Try to find something that is fun, but you're moving a lot. And dancing is really, it don't take nothing for people to start dancing. But if you say, okay, start exercising, people might be like, I don't want to exercise. I don't feel like it. But we always feel like dancing. So.
I love it. That's amazing. So among all the expertise you have, right? Keynote speaking, workshop facilitating, business startup coach.
Yeah.
You're influencing, you're touching people. I think that's kind of the theme that I see, right? You're bringing that care, that thoughtfulness, and that energy into spaces, and you're making a difference in one way or another.
Yep.
Okay. So, as a person who operates the way that you do, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps? Well, I love that. That's so funny. When I'm having, back when I was doing more of my business startup coaching on a regular basis, that was one of the most powerful questions I could ask a person, because sometimes when you ask a person, what's going on, people have what's wrong. They have a tendency to, well, everything's fine. No, but you're on the call with a coach, so you probably need help with something. But what keeps you up at night, right? What's that thing that's keeping you up? Really, nothing keeps me up at night. I sleep well, probably because I exercise, but I know what you mean. What is the thing I'm concerned about? And what really led me to the space where I work right now? Absolutely. Let me just go back. So 5 years ago, I was laid off from the company I was at for 14 years. And I've saw it as a phenomenal opportunity to step into the entrepreneurial space. I've always been a serial entrepreneur, always starting this, always graphic design, event planning, always doing something, honey. But I never did it full time. So that was my opportunity to step into that space. And the biggest challenge I had was, what am I good at that I can monetize? Now, 5 years later, I recognize that almost anything can be monetized, quite frankly. People just need to just know, what's the problem that you want to solve in the world? There's someone that will pay you to solve that problem. You just have to get in touch with your audience and speak to them in the way they need to hear at the time you're ready to solve the problem, and you can do it. But I knew that there are a lot of people out here, and I'm going to talk about the business coaching. I'm going to come forward to where I'm at now. A lot of people start businesses, but the majority of them fail. Back in about 4 or 5 years ago, the statistic was about 87% of new businesses started every day are started by Black women. And also another statistic is that by year 5, and please don't get me in the comments, because I haven't looked at my stats in a while, but at least about 75% of small businesses fail. By year 5, they're gone. Definitely by year 10, but definitely most of the time by year 5, they're all gone. And I knew it was because a lot of people have a dream. A lot of people say, oh, I want to start my own business. I want to work for myself. Everybody thinks they want to work for themselves. Now, sidebar, just because you don't like your employer, your boss, does not mean you want to work for yourself. You just might need to find another employee, because it's not for everybody. Right. It takes a special kind of crazy to work for yourself. I'm going to say that again. It takes a special kind of crazy to work for yourself, and everybody's not able. So we got a lot of folk starting businesses that really just might have been in the wrong job space. There's nothing wrong with jobs. I had them for years. But coming back forward, it's not because it's because they don't know what they're doing. That's what I found. Everybody has a dream. Oh, I want to do this. But when it comes down to actually creating the work, when it comes down to actually moving products from your hands into the hands of other people and getting their money out of their pocket coming this way, or a service or an experience, it's not that easy. Right. And it's not because the market's saturated. It's not always that. It's just because you just don't know all of the things that go into owning a business that aren't the fun part. Everybody wants to start a t-shirt business. Everybody wants to do, there's certain things I see all the time. But when you ask them, do you know the numbers? When you ask them, do you have a business plan? I'm going to give it a try. No, you can't. If you want to succeed, but everybody wants to be a millionaire, Ian. Right. Everybody wants to be a millionaire. I would always get there. How much money you want to make? I want to make $1 million. But when you really get down to it, they don't know how to get there. And so that's why I started my coaching business, just helping women to take whatever their product or service is. There are some fundamental principles that apply to all businesses, all business startups. Doesn't matter if it's a product or service or what it is, retail, what it is. It applies. If they don't know, they need somebody to walk them step by step. What do I do first? What do I do next? It always tickles me when I get ads, probably because of the things I talk about near my phone. The phones are listening. I always see ads for, start your LLC. Mm-hmm. And when I look at it as a self-employed person, I know they're just helping you do something that you quite frankly need to do yourself. And I'm like, are they charging people to register their business with the Secretary of State? But that's where they're going to drop you off. You're going to have an LLC. You're going to be registered with the state, but that's not a business. That just means they know you got a name and an address, but they're giving people little bits of I'm going to sell you this list. I'm going to do this. I want to bring together all of the pieces. What's all the things from A to Z, and walk you through it step by step, not just say, here's a book, go figure it out. Here's everything I know, just figure it out. Walk them through step by step.
Yeah.
So many Black women, especially, like I said, 87% were started. I shouldn't have said started by Black women. The statistics said women of color. I always hear that it's Black women, but they would have also include Hispanic women, Asian women, because I think this came from, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what organization it is that puts out that report, but I heard it. But I know Black women always want to start their own business, and often we do. We are leading in that space. But I just felt compelled to help women in that space, and so that's what I did. I coached. Then this year, the pandemic happened, life happened, but this year I just really got the itch to pursue my desire to be a speaker, speak on other people's stages. I like speaking, and I never would have thought, because a lot of people's biggest fear is public speaking, but that's not my biggest fear. As long as I'm prepared, I'm fine. You know, I would love to speak, and I was like, what is the message I want to give? So I surveyed some of my friends. I said, what are the top 3 words you would use to describe me? Friends, family. Had my son, my PhD student son, he helped me plot it out, put all the words in categories, and try to roll them up to what are the biggest themes I was hearing that people use to describe me. And what kept coming up is things that I would roll up under confidence, and then authenticity. You're who you say you are. There's a lot of things about me people don't like. A lot of people that don't like me, but what they can't say is they don't know where I'm coming from when I'm coming. They're going to get the real McCoy every time. Right. And I'm not consumed with what other people think. I move in a confident space. And I always tell people, when I was in college, when I was a young adult, I was not what I would consider a younger version of who I am today. Obviously, there were some pieces of me that were there since childhood, but I was not the student on campus leading out. None of that. I was the one making stupid decisions, not doing well in school, chasing stupid boys, just doing dumb stuff. Did not have the mentorship, did not know who I was, did not know how to make decisions, did not know how to set goals. See, there are young adults that do know those things. They get it from their parents, it's within, I don't know, but the majority of them, they struggle. And I said, I wish I had people pouring specifically into me and telling me these things so I did not have to squander. When I say squander, everything you do on your journey is what you do, but there are things I could have done better had someone poured in. I said, I want to be the person that taps these young people on the shoulders when they're 17, 18, 19 and says, here's what you can do differently. Here's how you can make decisions for yourself. Here's how you can stand up and have those crucial conversations. Here's how you can make decisions about your future with confidence. Here's how you can not be a follower, but be a leader. That's where the confidence command came in. That's where my brave framework kind of got developed. And I'm still working on it, even as I'm, just kind of, what do they say? Leap and then build the airplane.
Yeah, build your wings on the way down.
Right, so I'm building, and because what I know for a fact is I know that I have something to say to these. It's not just students, it's also young professionals, because like I said, I was in corporate America in some capacity or other for about 25 years. And there are things that I know now and knew towards the end of my tenure that I wish I had known early on about how to navigate, especially young professionals of color, but really the message is for everybody. There's a lot of people that struggle with not knowing who they are, but especially Black and brown people, because there's so many aspects to corporate America that don't apply to other groups that make their journey even more dicey. And so to help them to know, you don't have to, like, I'm going to give you this, and you cut me off if I'm just babbling. I don't know.
No, Coach. You going in. You going in.
You can edit this out. You can edit whatever you need to, and I will not be mad.
Come on.
But I hear people talk about, because I've been in natural hair groups on Facebook and things, they're thinking about what they should do with their hair before a job interview. And it always would strike me as interesting because I never thought like that. I never once wondered what they would think about the way I look. I would dress professionally, but I've had locks since 1998 is when I started my first set. Cut them off in 2010. And then in 2012, I started this set. So I've had locks my entire career. It never occurred to me that someone across the table could be judging me, not based on what's on my resume and the things coming out of my mouth, but the way I look. But I think part of the reason, and it may have factored in, there may be roles I didn't get because I didn't like the way they look, but that's not the role for me. If you would judge me based on that, I don't need your role. But being able to approach it like that comes from a place, you have to be solid within to know, I'm the one, I think I'm the one for this role. And if y'all like that, it's actually because there's a two-way street. This ain't the role for me if you would judge me based on my hair. So that's the other story. If you feel like you have to, and don't get mad at me in the comments, but if you got to straighten your hair just to get the job, then who are you going to have to be when you get there?
Come on.
They'll find a way to get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? Be who you are from jump with any engagement. I don't need the young people to know. You don't need to. You can say, don't worry about what are they gonna think I'm angry black. Are you angry black? If you're not, be who you are, be assertive. How they choose to interpret, twist, that's none of your business. Do your best, show up authentically and with confidence, and you'll be surprised how people come in line with who you're representing yourself as. A lot of times they can, you know how they say an animal can smell the fear on you, like a wild animal or even dogs. But if you don't, if there's not really any fear, they approach you different a lot of times. Don't let them smell the fear on you. There shouldn't be any fear on you. Be who you are. And people either line up or not. I don't miss out on anything because someone misunderstands me.
Come on.
If you're committed to misunderstanding me, like I never thought about, okay, what if I got these lies? I don't want them to feel like I'm black. Here's my resume. When can I start? Like, I want to.
I love it.
And then not only that, but also what I share with young adults is just the career path. Like, I didn't know, you should be planning your next 3 moves. I was at a big company that there was a lot of roles. You could work there, or people do work there for decades and do a lot of different stuff.
Sure.
You need to when the day you start, really before you start a new role, you need to already be worrying about how you're going to leave that one, go to the next one, and then the next one. Otherwise, how can you prepare yourself along the way in this one to get the next? You can't wait till you're sick of the supervisor, you're bored, then you're interviewing from a place of desperation. I just got to get out of here. I just want to make some more money. No. You need to take control and say, I'm going to be this and for about a year, then I'm going to do this for a couple of years, and I'm going to get these skills, and I'm going to meet these people, and then I'm going to do that. Folks don't know these things. I mean, they don't know them. And then, or they'll teach it to you from a very sterile standpoint. This is your career, but nah, let me give you the real, and how you can step in and really own your space. So the confidence and authenticity is at the core of it. Because if you have that, you move in all spaces in life very differently. So that's me.
Come on, you just you blowing up the podcast. You blowing it up. You blow it up. And honestly, you're speaking my language more than you know. And honestly, because part of me is still on that journey.
Okay.
I've been in corporate I was in corporate for 15 years, and I was let go in 2020.
Okay.
And just coming to that place where I realized I needed to be authentic. I wanted to be in a space where I didn't have to suppress myself, compromise to navigate certain spaces in order to get the acknowledgement I needed to quote unquote succeed. Now, my definition for success is totally different now. It has to be because it's going to change.
Just said, that's it right there, Ian, is you get to define what success is. Success might not be climbing this ladder. Success might be work, having a balance between work and things. One of my top values that I've discovered in these 5 years is freedom. A lot of people choose value. They see the list. Oh, I like this. No, it's not about all the words sound good. What do you really value? I value my freedom. So when you know what you value, you make your decisions through that filter. So I make decisions about what I will do. Like right now, I'm working a contract job to make some extra money to fund my business. And I would only do it because it was 100% remote. And I can work it. I got their laptop and I be wherever I am, and I'm doing their stuff and I'm doing my stuff. I wouldn't do it if I had to go in the office because I want to be free. If I want to be in California right now, but I get their stuff, I'm not going to take something that doesn't let me be free. Everything needs to be, because that's what I value. Some people don't value that. I also value reliability. I value that in people. I value that in experiences. You have to know what you value, what's important to you, what's literally important to you. And one of your clues to that is, what is it that sets you off when you get upset? When you get upset about something, what is it about it that bothers you? And that means your values were probably being conflicted with. And then maybe that's not the experience for you or the person for you. But yeah, you are on your journey. So you said you've been out for 2 years, out of corporate America for 2 years.
Yeah, officially out in 2020. Yeah. Yep. And I started my business a year prior, and I've been loving it ever since. I think amazing. The way that I am, I would say the way that I'm wired, I'm a naturally cautious person. I may not have taken that leap if it wasn't, if I wasn't.
I would have delayed mine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I would have figured a way to delay it. But once I was out here, I couldn't think of another way I would want to live.
You weren't looking for another job. You wasn't sprucing up your resume. You was like,
I got 2 babies. I got a 7-year-old, and I just have 4 months. I got a 4-month-year-old. She's 4 months. So, I ain't gonna lie and say I ain't never looked at my resume and said I got babies to take care of.
For sure.
However, my sense of loyalty is different. Yeah. I know what I can see where I'm loyal to myself first over a company. Where I haven't always felt and thought that way.
Mm-hmm. You have to.
I'm not working. Even if I do take a job, I'm no longer working for anybody. I'm working with them because I bring value.
That's right.
To the organization. That's that mind. Just a very simple switch.
It's a subtle shift, but it makes all the difference. No, 100%. When I took this role, I wasn't looking for a job. The headhunter, they always are sending me messages. I think they find me on Indeed or LinkedIn or somewhere. Mm-hmm. Something about it caught my eye. I was at my former employer. I saw the pay. I saw 100% remote, and I saw it 4 months. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. But I'm not working. I'm working with them, right? And it's different. But somebody said, well, would you go back full time? No, not permanently. No, because I'm an entrepreneur. And they'd be like, oh, what? It's not for sale. Like it's never going to end. I guess some people are kind of waiting for you to give up on your that foolishness and come back to get a safe job. Mm. That's what they're waiting on for entrepreneurs when people aren't comfortable with that. Like, no, this is just it's not even a detour. This is just another tool to fuel what I told you. $1 million business. That's what we're doing. Like, we're going to keep doing it till I either die or get it. Those are 2 options. Failure's not an option. So.
Absolutely. And you touched on so many things. The values, I coach as well. I do life coaching and personal growth coaching. But that values, so it's something that's so simple, but most people I find are not in touch with their values. Who are you and what do you stand for? And when you don't know that, you find yourself looking everywhere else for your answers when you are the only one that should have them. And that's talking from the perspective of a person of faith. I'm not saying I'm a praying person, but that's between God and I.
Yeah.
Right. The way he made me, the gifts he gave me, the talents, the passion. What I describe as God-given passions, the things that keep me up at night.
Yeah.
The thing, like you said, the thing that sets me off.
Yeah.
Like nobody's gonna know that better than me.
Yeah, what can you go off about and talk about? You saw me going off. I was just amazing. Don't get me started. Like that thing, folks, that's your thing. Don't fight it. Don't try to make yourself wrong. When you have an idea or a thought or you see a problem, it's meant for you to solve. Don't wait for the government to solve it, the community to solve it, that person. It's for you to solve. And it's not going to stop bothering you until you do. That's what you value. That's the thing that's important to you. When I get frustrated with friends and things, it's usually because they haven't been reliable. Or they're not communicating clearly. Communicating. That's one of my things. Reliability. So don't look at the list of values and be like, oh, I like people that are that way. No. Because when you look at a list of values, 200 values, or whatever you pull up on Google, all of them sound good. They don't mean that they're your top values, right?
Yes.
They're just good traits to have. Like some people don't care about reliability. And that's fine. That's not their thing, but it's mine.
There you go.
Keep your word to see what happens.
See, Coach MJ has drawn a line, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. I love it. Yes, and you know, it's one of those, like I said, it's very simple, but once you realize it, I describe it as a compass. Because you know, there's so many things that could lead you astray. You find yourself feeling like you have no sense of direction or loss. But once you have a sense of who you are and what you value, you can always find your way.
And you and not only those values, but then when you have a vision for where you're going, vision, like you can see it. Vision is the place and time in the future, 5 years, and you can literally taste, smell, feel, see everything about that. Then it helps you to make decisions in the present. If I do this, and it could be little things in your life. If I do this one thing, or I become friends with this one person, or if I spend my time this way, will it directly help me or indirectly help me to get to that vision? If it won't, you shouldn't do it. If
there it
will,
is. Come on.
then you should. And that's the end of, like, there's no other thing to consider. Is it going to help me get where I want to go? Now, there's some things that you may not immediately be able to see what's the connection, but it can even be how you spend your leisure time, because that's an important part that a lot of times entrepreneurs struggle with, is not feeling guilty about, oh my God, it's 5 hours in the day when I haven't filled with something. I should be working on my business. No, you should be renewing your mind. It's fine to not be doing. That's very hard, especially when you work from home. Because you're in the house and the business is in the house. So this is where I am. This is my office. I call this my wealth boutique. I don't come in here unless I'm working, because if you can get in a place of imbalance. And so even your leisure time has an impact. But it may be, do I do the same things I used to do for leisure? Maybe, I'll make this up, like maybe you go out and party real hard and drinking and substances and all that. If you have a vision for your life, it's not that you might want to do that with your leisure time, but it doesn't mean you can't do anything. You do need to rest and relax. You may just have to do it differently. So, but all
hashtag self-care. Yeah.
Hashtag self-care. Oh my goodness, don't get me started. Self-care is not just the spa treatments. It's not finally taking a vacation when you're so frazzled you can barely enjoy yourself.
Come on.
Self-care is creating a life that you don't need to escape from. So I don't drink, but I went to a gathering here at a friend's house with a bunch of people that were drinking. I just find it entertaining to watch people as they get hammered, and I go home. But one woman, and she was persistent, she asked me, well, how do you relax? How do you unwind? And I was like, But she's like, no, really, how do you? Because for her, it was drinking. Again, no shade to people that drink. But she couldn't conceive of how I relax when I don't drink alcohol. I don't even know what I told her. Because I have curated a life that is so replete with self-care. It's just part of it. There's no, okay, now let me stop and fix myself. No, it's always happening. So there's not something I do to unwind. I mean, I'll rest, I exercise, I go hang out with friends, but it's not this thing where I'm like, okay, if I don't do something now, I'm going to fall apart. It's built in. So self-care it should be just a lifestyle, not this, okay, now let me go and get my nails done. I do get my nails done, but that's the least of self-care. Self-care is also boundaries you set with people.
Come on.
It's things you won't let people say to you or treat you as. It's the way that you treat others. A lot of things are self-care. It's not just about the outward shell. It's how long you're willing to work. The things you will and won't engage in. Those are self-care.
Knowing your limits. Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of times you need all this restorative time in your mind because of the boundaries you haven't set. With relatives, with friends, there's all this stuff you haven't said. All these things that frustrate you. I'm like, well, have you told them? Well, I don't want them to be. When you tell them, when you start speaking up for yourself, you'd be surprised how little of this other stuff you need to do to fix yourself later. Just like, say the things, do the things. You're only here a very brief time. You're only on this globe a brief time, and you don't even know how long it'll be. So live a life that's full. Say the words, do the things, shoot your shot, start the business.
Articulate the vision.
Articulate the vision. Have a vision. Know what it is. A lot of people don't even know what that. I went to it was a speakers conference recently. Oh my goodness, it was so magnificent. I didn't physically go, it was virtual. but she did something she called, it was Ashley Kirkwood. I love her to death, but she had something she called the Dreamer's Den. She walked us through an exercise, and I was in tears. I imagine everybody in the audience was in tears because she had us to just walk up to this magnificent vision for what we wanted our business and our life to look like. And I was just like, I really need to get into the practice of going there every single day. That was self-care. It was like, wow. Anything that can move you to tears that isn't even happening, it's not my physical reality right now. But I was like, yes. Having a vision that excites you to do something different in the present. What are we even talking about right now, Ian? I'm all over the place.
No, you are right on. You are right on. Listen, I'm gonna go on record and say this will be the longest episode of Brothers and Podcast season 3 so far.
Your co-host gonna be like, "What in the world happened?"
No, this is amazing. We gonna wrap it up. Okay. You touched on so many powerful things. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't realize it before you pushed play today, you need to connect with Coach MJ in some way, because she will pour into you like nobody else, just like she's poured into us, including me, this last 30 minutes on this podcast. Listen, absolutely. And you need people in your corner, right? And I was talking about the values, and you immediately filled in the blank and talked about how important the vision was. And it's those two components that literally have revolutionized the way I navigate my life. Yes. And I think that's what you're saying as well. You having that personal vision, you having that sense of values has changed your life. And
what is important to me, and where am I going?
Yes, and this is the exact message that I want to get out with the Brothers and Influence Podcast.
I love it.
All those people that we're having on here have achieved success to some degree. We're all on the journey, right? And even you're saying, just with that last story about that brought you to tears, you're still on that journey as well. You're still being reminded of your values. You're still painting the picture. I love it, because when you start painting the picture of your vision, it's not a one and done. You go back to it, and you add flourishes, and it becomes clearer and more beautiful. And once you get there, it can take you places that you could have never dreamed, thought, imagined.
You gotta stay connected to where you, and it sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Some of the cliches are cliches because they're true. If you don't know, if you're not solidly connecting to your vision daily, then on those days when you don't have like you said, you don't have a compass for where you're going. You have to connect to it so that you will do something outside of your comfort zone to get there. Mm-hmm. And I can always tell how well I'm sticking with my mindset routines on a daily basis based on where my business is. When I'm kind of distracted by a bunch of foolishness, that's when I'm not doing my gratitude. That's when I'm not connecting to my goals. That's when I'm not literally visualizing where I want to go in a palpable and emotional way. When you literally can feel and smell the car, the vacation, the business, the people you impact, you can't not pursue it because you're like, oh my God, I got to get there. But when you let life get in the way, because life always has something thrown in the way. When you let life get in the way, you're just like, well, it's okay. I'll just do this. Mediocrity it's always waiting there. It's at the door all the time. The only way to beat it back is by constantly connecting to something bigger than where you are. And a lot of people are stuck at a plateau in their lives because they just haven't made the decision to do something more, and it's because they don't know where they want to go. So they say things like, "No, that might be another episode." It's like, "I'm not really going to do it for the money." Yes, do it for the money. Get rich. Why should all the bad people have the money and the good people with values and with a clean heart, a good heart, wanting to help people are broke? You can't help people when you broke. You can't help people when you're broke because stuff costs money. So I love people. I'm doing it for the love. I just want to help people. Then get rich, get wealthy. Then you can help people. Everything that people need can be tracked back to money. Something has to be bought or sold for people to be okay. If they're impoverished, they need money. If they need jobs, somebody has to create the business. If they need encouragement, somebody needs to be available to encourage them. It needs to be their job. You got to pay them. Like everything can be tracked back to money. Money is not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's the love of money that's the root of evil, not the money. It's a tool that measures where you are in your business or in your life. It's just a tool. I can look at my bank account and they'll tell me, well, that's how many people I helped this month because I had that much money in the bank. It's not about, I think money don't grow on trees. Well, it can. Get filthy rich. Why are you saying filthy? These connotations we have towards money, rich people don't say that stuff.
Right.
They got poor people thinking negatively about getting wealthy. It keeps you down. Have a bigger vision for yourself and attach it to a monetary goal, because that's what makes the world go round. If you want to help more people,
come on.
You can help more people when you have
All
money.
right.
All right.
We've got to wrap up.
Okay.
Because if we go any further, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna have to pay you for this last hour. And we, like you said, we might have to get episode 2. So those of you that are watching, listening, let us know if you want to have Coach MJ back on. I'll reach out and see. I'll make sure she gets compensated for her time, for additional time.
And my Patreon is not.
And listen, I'll make sure to get all the links for you to find her. If you want, to follow the choir, of course, but also the business links. Her podcast, she has her own podcast as well. So we want to make sure, as a community of listeners, that we tap in with each other, support each other, and you know that if you listen to this episode, she has added value to you. So without question, get connected and continue to benefit from her light. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask if you had some final words. I'll give you 30 to 60 seconds.
30 seconds, listen.
All right.
Be yourself, because nobody else, there's no such thing as competition. You have no competition in the world because nobody else can be you. And as cliche as that sounds, it is so true. A lot of the root of people not having confidence, not showing up as themselves, is that they think they have to be somebody else, or that somebody else is better. You're not better than other people. You're not beneath other people. You just have to focus on what's inside you, because only you can be the person that you are. Nobody else can compete with that.
Thank you so much, Coach MJ, for joining us today. This is the Brothers of Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value. And Coach MJ has done that today in the areas of life, leadership, and community. Thank you for tuning in. Please tap in with us for the next episode. But listen, hit rewind and hit replay on this one, because Coach MJ dropped some jewels I'm trying to tell you. Thank you for joining us. We out.